Hey guys, it's me, Faye here, and today I'm joined by Caroline, as promised in the last video. So today we are here to review Allegiant by Veronica Roth. And guess what else? What else have we got? Ice cream!
Ice cream!
So you get to watch us eat and talk about books.
Not
How
any ice
much
cream.
better?
Not any ice cream, but fish food.
Ben and Jerry's, guys. Ben and Jerry's.
Has to happen.
We are doing a review of Allegiant by Veronica Roth, which is the third book in the Divergent series. And this is the plot.
Or at least the synopsis, anyway.
The plot summary.
If you want to know about the plot, go to the spoiler version of this review.
Yeah, so we're doing this is one review we're doing with no spoilers, and then on our Tumblr page, which we will link to below, there will be a spoiler version.
Spoiler filled. Overflowing with spoilers.
So only watch that video if you've read the book or actually don't care about spoilers. Like really badly.
Like really.
Spoilers.
We say that
We're going
the
into
whole
detail.
book. The whole book is spoiled entirely.
So yeah, don't
only
watch
go visit
it.
if you want to see what we think and share your views with us.
Yes. We really want to hear your views.
Anyway, back to this.
Plot synopsis.
The faction-based society that Tris Pryor once believed in is shattered, fractured by violence and power struggles and scarred by loss and betrayal. So when offered a chance to explore the world past the limits she's known, Tris is ready. Perhaps beyond the fence, she and Tobias will find a simple new life together, free from complicated lies, tangled loyalties and painful memories.
But Triss's new reality is even more alarming than the one she left behind. Old discoveries are quickly rendered meaningless. Explosive new truths change the hearts of those she loves, and once again Tris must battle to comprehend the complexities of human nature and of herself, while facing impossible choices about courage, allegiance, sacrifice, and love. So, the first question, what were your initial thoughts on the book? What were you thinking when you were reading, when you finished?
When I finished...
When you just your initial thoughts? What were the first things that came into your head?
First things came into my head, that I enjoyed it. I thought that it was a fitting final book for the series. I felt that it was different from the first two books, but nevertheless I still enjoyed where Veronica Roth took the series. I like where it went. What are your initial thoughts?
Different to yours.
Different.
I got bored.
Bored.
Really easily, really quickly even. It was slower than the previous two, but I couldn't appreciate it in the same way. I think the problem was she was trying to explain the world as it is now to the readers while trying to explain it to she was trying to explain it to the characters, but the readers sort of know how the world works, and it was really hard to I just found there was nothing happening. So you're being told how a plane works, and you're like, well, we know how a freaking plane works.
But then by the same token, if you didn't have that confusion in the characters, and I know,
I totally understand. I know it had to happen.
Yeah, it didn't need quite so much explanation.
It was a bit well, I know that, and also it would have been but then if you didn't explain it, there would have been something missing. But I just didn't think there was enough action around it.
We only really needed to know that the characters didn't know what a plane was and how it worked. We didn't actually need more of an explanation about it.
Yeah, and I just there wasn't the action and the thrill.
I do agree that the pacing was definitely different, and there certainly wasn't as much action, and the action that was there was more...
even slow.
Yeah.
It was still slow.
It was more, I think even the action that was there was quite short, short, sharp bursts that almost kind of punctuated the rest of the story. I think it almost felt, in the first book, obviously you've got the world building, so you expect a lot of explanation. And because we've gone outside of the city and we're now in this new environment, which is almost like a completely different world from the one that we experienced in the first two books, and a different world for the characters, that we're having that world building again. So whereas normally with the third book, you know the characters, you know the world, we didn't have that this time round.
I still don't feel like there was anything done with that information. We were told it, and then it didn't actually impact really anything of what happened, and I feel that was why I didn't entirely get along with the book, because it seemed like all this information was really pointless, even more pointless than it could have been.
Or almost like the information was given to us after the fact, so some some characters make some decisions in the book, and it's almost like the information that we're given later kind of backs up that decision that the character made, even though it wasn't the best decision. And also, I think the other thing is as well, I was talking to Helen, who blogs with me at Big Book Little Book, about it, and we were saying it's almost like there was so much information in this book, you almost felt like you needed a fourth book to kind of warrant the fact we've got this whole world building.
But since we've now exhausted the initial thought question, I think maybe we should move on to the next.
Well, we
question.
kind of exhaust it and go off into a different tangent anyway. I'm just
Yes,
having
no,
a bit of
that's fine, and I'll
okay. Were there any interesting character developments?
I think that there were. I
start.
think that Triss was developed quite well. She had a lot to overcome, and I feel like her relationship with Caleb was quite interesting and how that ended. And you could sort of see, but in the same way, she was still sort of the same person she was in the second book. She hasn't really changed.
No, she's still kind of strong, and she still gets to be the one that makes all the right decisions. I thought in a way everything that happened in the book was just completely in keeping with her character. I think we learnt more about her actual physical background, but that only reinforced what we already knew about her. But as far as developing her character, I agree. I don't think she's changed very much. Perhaps just she has more confidence, and more confidence in herself to the point that when her and Tobias disagreed on a course of action.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go on.
Christina.
I love Christina! Love Christina. I think
she
grew into the most amazing character, and actually there's a particular point right at the end of the book where you kind of go, oh yeah, actually she rocks.
She is amazing.
Absolutely amazing. No, I agree. I absolutely loved Christina. She developed so much, and that development's recognised by the characters in the book as well. It's fun.
And I feel like at the end, where they are at the end, Christina could become like a really important person to everyone.
Right. So, what were your thoughts, without spoiling it, about the ending? Which isn't really the ending, because I didn't think it was the ending. I think what everyone's got their knickers in a twist about is a plot point.
Oh, no. When I asked that question, I actually mean the ending. Anyway.
The actual ending. Okay, yes.
I really liked the ending.
The actual ending. The ending
I really enjoyed it.
The book.
It kind of gave you that sense of hope in a way that you get sometimes in the end of trilogies.
Yes.
Anyways. But like you kind of could see that while they're not okay, they will be.
Yeah. So we were gifted with an epilogue, which is about 2 years into the future, or 2 years after the end of the main action of the book. And I think that was really nice because I personally, I like having epilogues. I like to see how the characters are doing a little bit down the line. I like to see how things have panned out, to see that actually all that angst and horror and violence is worth it.
So epilogues are just a few years later.
You can still see that everything that's happened is still having an impact on them, but at the same time, you're given that vision into hope. You're seeing that those struggles of the struggles are worth it, and that actually nothing is wrapped up perfectly in a bow. But you can see
because
that
it's a dystopian, so why would it be?
And also, it's life. Life doesn't get wrapped up in a bow. Life moves on, and it's great to see people moving on with their lives after the events of the book, and seeing how the events and decisions that have been made have impacted on them.
Yes.
But without having this cheesy happy ever after. Because it would be unbelievable. We would have been shortchanged as readers.
And it's nice as well to have that extra time as well, because if she had ended it before the epilogue, it would have been like,
and everything's
I can't live with this.
Everything's so raw.
Yeah, it's like ends.
Yes.
It would be like, ha in your face. Deal with it now, biatches. Wouldn't be nice. No. So the epilogue was good. So how would you summarise the series as a whole?
Okay. How would I summarise the series as a whole? Summarise it. It's quite difficult.
Yeah, like, if you had to describe it to someone else, or...
I would definitely recommend it. Absolutely recommend it. And I already have. And I love the first 2 books, and I enjoyed this book as well. Summarise the series. It's different. And it's brave.
Yeah, it's empowering and it's fun in ways, sad in others.
I think there is. I think
it's
the Dauntless thing, isn't it? And I remember reading the first book and being like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm going to jump off a train and get tattoos. Definitely. I'd so be dauntless. No, not really.
No, yeah, it was. It makes you come out of your world for a little bit and enter someone else's, and it's an interesting way of looking at it, and especially when you get to why they're the way they are at the end of it, and I think that's quite interesting as well. But so I think the series as a whole is enjoyable, and I definitely think it's definitely worth it to get to the end as well. As annoying and boring as it was, I'm really glad I actually got to the end and finished it, and that was
I'm really sad that there are people out there that are choosing not to read the final book, or have got just a certain point in the final book
and stopped.
Because I think actually
I couldn't do it anyway. I'm like, if I'm that far in the series
and that far in the book, I just think you need to trust the author. You're feeling emotional about this book because you loved the first two so much and you loved the world building and the characters that she's created. You have to trust the author to take it, and this is her story. We have to just trust that she's taken it where it needs to go, and I'm happy with the choices that she's made. And I think she's a great writer. And I'm really looking forward to what she does next. Perhaps a spin-off series.
Oh, yeah, that's for the next question, actually. But would you read another book by Veronica Roth?
Definitely. I would definitely read another book.
As well. In fact, I think the writing throughout the entire things, even when it was boring, she still had that lyrical, just really persuasive writing that you can just imagine and you get.
See, I never found it boring.
No,
I agree. The pacing was slower in this book compared to the others, and it had points where the pacing was very slow. But then I quite like wordy, lyrical books, and I will read them.
Yeah, and you still got a full view of the characters, which is something that you don't get in a lot of these action-y books anyway, but Veronica really has a way of getting you into the characters and getting you to know the characters. I mean, my main issues was just with the plot, in that it just didn't seem to do anything in the first half of the book. It did take a while for something to happen.
Do you think that's in comparison to all books, or just in comparison?
Just in comparison, I think, in compared to her first two.
Because it was so different from the first
you weren't expecting it of her because her other books were so much more, and I feel like that there could have been more because there was the capacity for it to be more actiony, but she just didn't make it that way, which is fine. That was her decision.
But then I also think
it was,
I also think in a way that could be a sort of a transition, because if you look at how the characters develop, and at the end of the book, they're looking at changing the world with their words, not necessarily their actions, and about thinking before. So in a way, for me, it was quite fitting that this book wasn't as action-filled as the first two books, because the characters themselves come to realise that actually that kind of immediate knee-jerk reaction isn't always the best course to take. And I would reread the series.
Oh yeah, I think it's a really good summarisation of the series, and I'm definitely looking forward to what else she has coming, and whatever it is, whether it's Divergent spin-off, which I really I don't know, I kind of hope it isn't actually. I kind of like that it's ended and it's done.
Yeah, and you've got no
and even if she does a contemporary or something, I think I'd still read it. So that's the end of our review of Allegiant by Veronica Roth. And so now we're going to finish by telling you that we want you to decide what our next buddy read will be. So we've decided we're going to get some UK YA
It's
authors,
about time.
because the last two have both been American. So what we want you to do is comment below with either your first choice and your second choice, or just one choice.
Okay, so the choice is The Bomb Maker by Claire McFall.
No, don't. Choose whatever one you want to choose.
Another dystopian.
And we have Fearsome Dreamer by Laura Eve, which is a fantasy type book, which is really awesome, and Laura is amazing. Okay, moving on.
Our third book choice is Night School by C.J. Doherty, who we know she's American, but she lives over here, so as far as we're concerned, she is absolutely UK YA. And it is, I believe, a contemporary.
Yes, I think it's contemporary. And then finally we have Cruel Summer by James Dawson, which is a crime/thriller. So, yes. This is the last one. I'm actually quite looking forward to this one. I'm looking forward to them all. So choose one of them for us to
Let us
read
know.
and review for you all.
And we should be hopefully sharing that review with you in January.
Yeah, in the new year. So we look forward to seeing you then, guys. Let us know what you think. Bye.
Bye.